Oh,
countdown or not, but we
I
are
don't think
absolutely
it.
live.
That must be an update. That
It
doesn't
is
usually
3
happen.
usually.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
It threw you off because we didn't have 2 extra seconds to really
Well, I
gather
was.
ourselves.
No, it's
Should
not
we?
that.
Do you want me to count down from 3?
3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back to Lombardi Sweep. Forever, I'm going to keep the whole thing in the audio version as well. But Super Bowl week, obviously, we're not playing. So in future episodes this offseason, we'll really figure out and talk about how the Packers can be playing at this time next year. We'll talk about what needs to happen, changes that need to happen. Again, every 2 weeks, we plan on having a show. A couple of weeks ago, we were searching for a defensive coordinator. We hired Jonathan Gannon. One of the people we talked about, are we overly excited? Not really. Do we need to talk about it into exhaustion after everybody else has? Probably not. We can do a full coaching staff breakdown maybe in a couple of weeks or something like that. But today, Brian Gutekunst had a press conference, went for nearly an hour, and we're planning on just talking through it. We got a bunch of main takeaways and quotes from the press conference. Luke has listened to the entire press conference. Trevor has seen 3 or 4 quotes from it, and I've seen one because it's the one that I guess is the biggest one everyone's talking about, because everyone likes to be pissed off at special teams coordinators for the Green Bay Packers. So the special teams comment is making its rounds. But overall, we got 3 people with very different exposure levels to this press conference. So it'll be a very much a blind react for a couple of us. And then Luke knows what's coming up, so maybe he can foreshadow some stuff. But before we get into that, I was on Packers subreddit and found something that I thought was funny. I don't know what this image is, but it has a bunch of Packers autographs on it from this season.
Oh,
So we got Quay Walker on the bottom. We're just analyzing signatures right now.
yeah.
It's an okay signature, not a bad signature.
I feel like
Yeah, go ahead.
just to critique Quay Walker's signature here.
Sure.
W feels like it should be a really, if you have a
Mhm.
W as your starting, as one of the start initials, feels like it should be like highly touted figure in your signature, and you just no W. I guess there's a little W there, but that thing should be, the W should be overpowering.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you can't have a period in a signature. You can't do W dot in a signature. I think that's pretty stupid.
I mean, even if you just did QW, nothing else, I think that would be probably an upgrade, to your point, Luke. But also,
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a W as an initial and you're an athlete, you want nothing but W. That's
Correct.
what we're about right now. We're trying to collect W's. So that's a good point. Sean Ryan's looks like, I would say, similar to maybe what my first autograph looked like when I was learning cursive.
He's a
It looks
child.
like, yeah, it looks like something you create on like paint. Like you can't really hold your cursor that well, and it's kind of shaky, and you're trying to do your autograph.
Yeah, and he's
Does
really
it-
like going through every letter for the most part,
Does paint exist anymore? You guys remember
Probably.
paint?
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I don't think it's upgraded since Windows 98, but I think
Yeah.
it's still there.
That's a core memory of mine. You used to spend a lot of time on paint.
Same here. You know what? I know for a fact it exists because there's some girl who does sports logos.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
The reason this was posted on the subreddit was because of Keyshawn Nixon's autograph here. Someone was saying gives no effort on the field or off the field. Look at the signature. This isn't. There's more to this photo, and I'm going to say this wasn't my main takeaway, but this is a bad signature for sure, right?
Yeah.
You like it?
I
Yes,
think
no.
relative to, I think this is the best of the 3.
There's no
No.
X. That's
Yeah,
what
there's
you're
an
gonna
X.
have.
It's
No, there's
crosses on at the bottom of the. So there's a big circle, and right under it is where he crosses the X.
That's
Why
a
is there
lie.
circle?
The circle in Nixon's name.
Yeah, why is there a circle then though? Like,
Well,
what are
because
we
he's
doing?
dotting the I.
I don't know.
I think this is
I
the
don't
best
know.
one out of these 3.
Not
Not
even
saying
close.
it's a great signature, but
He just you can tell he's too lazy and stupid to come up with a signature, so that's why he just goes with waves.
that's
He
cursive.
doesn't want to try with the X.
But that's
man,
cursive.
that's not even close.
I don't think anyone should be allowed to do K dot.
Yep.
I'm fine with that. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, but yeah, this is the reason people were shitting on Nixon and on the subreddit, and this is why it was posted. This is why I
Oh,
brought it
okay.
up.
God damn it, Rashawn. Well,
So
joke's on us. It's because he can't spell his own fucking name. He's too
that's why
stupid.
I'm like, I commented on there, like I knew he couldn't read, but I didn't know he couldn't write either. Like he can't even write his name. Rashawn Gary just scribbled.
So
It
going back,
seems like it was on a digital pad or something, and he messed up and he crossed it out. That's what his autograph looks like.
going back to paint, this is like when you just do your cursor all over the place and make something, and you kind of fill in the colors where the holes are.
Yeah, this is bad.
It
Yeah, not
looks
great.
like I'm looking at a pentagram from the side. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
I mean, it just reminds me of scribbles. I don't know. It's a child. It's someone who is illiterate in every sense of the term. So, it wasn't surprising to me, but I don't know why people were talking about Nixon and not talking about Rashawn Gary here. The other ones, Marshawn Lloyd, fine
Oh, that's the
signature.
best one.
I was surprised to see him here. And then Luke Musgrave's cut off, but that looks like a decent signature.
I'm sure it's good. The L's are good to make in cursive.
True.
Can
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Why isn't
like,
anyone talking about Rashawn Gary on it? I was the only comment, by the way. The only comment. I looked.
Can you imagine if he was good and like for signed autographs, like in the future, Pawn Stars, they have the experts come in and be like, yeah, that's his signature because of the I and the X or whatever. Can you imagine looking at that and going, yep, that's Rashawn Gary? Like it's just scribbles.
It's pathetic. It's bad. Okay. Let's get into the press conference here. I just have a bunch of quotes pulled up in Google here. So first name, obviously, there's the person who tweeted it. So Andy Herman has a bunch of these. But Gutekunst on the special teams says, we've put more emphasis on special teams than we ever have. Says we've improved and gotten a lot better. And he has a lot of faith in Rich. Doesn't sound like any major changes on special teams. So this is the one that's been making, they're sending notifications out about. This one's making its rounds because everyone wants Bisaccia, the assistant head coach, the special teams coordinator, fired. Not a surprise that he's not going to be fired. And I guess when I saw this, it's also not a surprise that this is the most emphasis we've ever placed on special teams because we never signed anybody for special teams before Bisaccia. It's a complete culture change.
Yeah,
Right?
correct. Yeah, I agree. I think it kind of gets taken out of context, right? Because people don't really know what special teams are. Um, right. Like when you talk about special teams, you talk about it as a whole. Where when we talk about offense, you kind of break it down. Here's the passing game, here's the running game, here's quarterback play, here's lineman play. When you talk about defense, pass rush, tackle, coverage, whatever. People don't really do that with special teams. Like everything's just like one player impacts every single thing with special teams. Now, are the Packers special teams good? I think that's probably up for debate. But there are aspects that were very good this year that, again, nobody's talked about. And, having
Mhm.
one of the best punting seasons of all time. I thought the coverage was fine this year. And
Yeah. Did we have
I
any
guess
return touchdown against us?
not that I can think of.
Yeah, I don't think
Um,
so either.
and for the most part, too, and I know this is not a popular take. This is not a take that is probably not even right. But for the most part, Brandon McManus was fine this year, right? He fell apart in the playoff game. But as a whole, I would say that when relative to what I've seen Packers special teams unit put out there, this was a pretty good special teams year.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we've talked about it on the show before as well. There's only so much I feel like a special teams coordinator can do for a kicker.
Right.
It's either, make the kick or don't make the kick. There's some mechanic stuff, there's some psychology stuff you could do. But for the most part, honestly, the team psychologist may have more of an impact on a kicker than the special teams coordinator. So if we take kicking out of it, I mean, there aren't that many special teams units that were more solid than the Packers this year.
Yeah.
We don't have the returner who can make a game-breaking play. That's not Bisaccia's fault. And then the kicker, we had one kicker that we signed and set a franchise record. And then we had another kicker who we signed that struggled. And I don't necessarily put that on his lap. So I thought he had a good year, honestly. And I know that's not going to be a popular take amongst Packer fans, but it's an
Right.
educated take, I think.
Yeah, I'll say too, as like, not that this matter. I guess it matters, but not that it matters to the general audience. Like Matt Orzick, this long snapper, has been awesome in his Packers career.
You don't talk about it until it's a problem, and we
Right.
haven't talked about him. So, yeah.
And to your point about the kicking, right? Like if you're gonna say what's the biggest special teams play, like the worst one outside of kicking this year, it's probably the Dobbs fumbled onside, which again, just like kicking, I mean, Bisaccia he was in the right position. He just needs to make a play.
Yeah, it
So,
comes down to
Receiver one.
be an athlete.
so like outside of that, like there wasn't really anything else. So
Yeah, the wide receiver one was on Hand's team. The ball went to him, which is the exact scenario you want, and he missed it. That's not Bisaccia's fault. Maybe it's maybe we need a more reliable wide receiver one's fault. And I think it's the person who gave this answer's fault. But regardless, I don't mind Gutekunst's quote here.
Yeah, I think he's right
Bisaccia
about
should come
this.
back.
Yeah,
Fully.
I think he's
100%. Okay. Brian thought Aaron Banks played really well at the end of the year. No. Once he got healthy, he said the injuries to Hobbs and Banks were unexpected, obviously. Says no final decisions, but expects both to be back.
Well, aren't they? Well, so I have a couple qualms with this that aren't necessarily about the quote, but reporters don't need to refer to Brian Gutekunst as Brian.
Correct.
And then there was a lot of questions about bringing guys back in this, and I'm sure we'll get to them, but bringing guys back. A lot of questions about bringing guys back are guys who are under contract that we are going to be brought back. So that didn't really make sense to me why Hobbs and Banks are questioning if they're going to be brought back.
We also paid Banks a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's not even, there wasn't a question of whether he's back. We can ask if he should start, because I think that's a very big question that we should ask. His contract says he should, but the fact that Banks played really well at the end of the year, I guess relative to how he normally plays, I guess. He didn't play good. He's not a good player. And injuries were unexpected. On one hand, yes, you don't expect anybody to get hurt, obviously, duh. But also Aaron Banks is perpetually hurt. He was perpetually hurt with San Francisco too. So that one I would say is expected. And when he's back next year, I would expect it again. I don't think that's going to change. Hobbs, I don't know his injury track record. But he had nagging like knee shit all year long. Again, I don't think he's an outstanding player, but there's no doubt that it hampered him.
Right, for sure. Yep. Yeah. So again, I guess I don't totally agree with Brian with Brian on this, but like again, you're not going to come out and say, yeah, Aaron Banks fucking sucked. Yeah, Hobbs fucking sucked. Where in reality, I think everyone knows the answer to this. I think Brian knows the answer to this. I think I'm going to go by Brian. The rest of the show is history, as long as Gutekunst is here.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, whatever.
I mean, my problem with it is it's very transparent. I mean, was he the biggest free agent signing we had, like in terms of money last year? I assume.
Yeah. Right. We're not counting Micah with the trade, obviously.
Right. Yeah, that was a trade. So he's not going to say the person that he went and signed all the money and gave all the money to was bad. And then everybody knows he was bad. So he can't be like, yeah, he had a good year.
I don't know if that's true.
What?
I don't think everyone knows that he was bad.
Okay.
I think people
should know.
You're right.
Anyone who knows football knows he was bad. So you can't say a blanket statement like he was fine. You have to provide optimism. It's like, hey, yes, he was hurt, but he played better, and I expect him to be better next year. Please stop asking me about him the rest of the offseason. That's what that is. Now, the correct answer he should have gave was, Banks was injured all year. He was hampered by injuries. He knows he has to be better.
Yep.
That's it. That's the answer. But it's an ego thing. It's the reason why Jordan Love is the franchise quarterback, because he traded up to get him, not because of his play. And there's, that situation across the board. Matt LaFleur is his guy because he has full control over Matt LaFleur, and it's not a risk. Aaron Banks is not a risk. We have him. We paid him. We're playing him. If he's bad, must be injuries, not me. That's what this is.
Just because I don't know what quotes you have in here, I want to put a pin in this because he talks about another player.
Okay. Let's move on. Schneidman says Gutekunst says he expects Banks and Hobbs to be back. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yes.
Okay, Wood. Brian.
This is what I was alluding to. This quote.
Okay, on Rashawn Gary. I don't think he knows how to write his own name. It's concern. Oh, okay, that's not what he said. I thought he started out really, really strong. Obviously, he had a lot of production early. I think he ended up with 60 some pressures and 7.5 sacks. That's pretty good production in the NFL. Notes it was not a strong finish for Gary though. Okay. First off, that's fine production for players. If you're saying a player has 7.5 sacks, fine. That's good. When you're paid a lot of money.
That's the issue with Rashawn Gary.
Yeah, if you're paid a lot of money, that's not good. But then also, why do we think he didn't finish the year strong? Is your question?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah. Why does anybody we know why he didn't finish the year strong?
Right.
What do you think?
Right. Yeah. Tell us. Right. But so just going back to Hobbs, what I said, put a pin in of Brian Gutekunst, Brian being transparent and saying we give him all this money, he's got to be better. I kind of felt like he was alluding a little bit to that to Rashawn Gary. Now, did he come out and say that? Yeah, Rashawn Gary fucking sucked at the end of the year. No, but it was not a strong finish for Gary. Correct, right? I mean, does that light something in Rashawn Gary? Probably not. But if you're a competent football player, it probably should.
It absolutely should, and we'll see. Who they hire. I don't think they've hired. They're losing their defensive, or the defensive line coach might be the only defensive coach back. So we'll see. Yep. But I mean, boy, whoever comes in needs to have a voice in the room. I don't think they're going to, but they either need to have a voice in the room to say, "Hey, that's the guy I'm going to turn into a good player," or "That's the guy we should be shopping." I know what my opinion is, but Rashawn Gary needs to be a focal point this offseason with something.
Yeah. I mean, this is a guy who was a 12th overall pick. I mean,
number one recruit out of high school.
Yeah, I mean, 7.5 sacks and 60 some pressures. That's pretty good production. No, it's pretty fucking easy to do when you have Devontae Wyatt in the middle and Micah Parsons on the outside. What's pretty hard to do is to lay a complete egg for the last half of the season, even when Parsons was in some of those games. That's my problem with it. This isn't a second round pick we're talking about. This is a 12th overall pick, and he still has not hit double-digit sacks.
Right. He still hasn't done it. Whenever the offensive line is keying pressure on him whatsoever or gives him anything other than single, he can't do anything. And we need to stop measuring his success on pressures and hurries and stuff like that. He just doesn't finish plays, whether it's rushing the passer, whether it's contain, run fit, anything. He just does not finish plays. He may do a good first 2 steps, and then he takes himself fully out of the play. That's what he does every time.
Pressures is a really weird stat to it feels like it's an outdated stat, right? Because
it's a subjective stat.
Agreed. But when we talk about pressures, right, it feels like that stems from quarterbacks who are going to sit in the pocket and wait for everything to open up. That doesn't really exist anymore, right? There's not really standstill quarterbacks who are going to sit and work the pocket. There's guys, if it's not there, they're moving. And I guess that counts as a pressure, right? If the quarterback moves and you're close to him. But in reality, that means absolutely nothing, right?
Well, there's a reason why, forever, you got to look at offensive line stats, because it's Russell Wilson was the most sacked quarterback when he was at the Seattle Seahawks. We said over and over and over again, oh, Russell Wilson just needs an offensive line. But then when you look at it, it's time to sack, the amount of seconds of the play before you get sacked was the most in the NFL. So it's okay. So he was under pressure. He was sacked, but it was fully on him. If Caleb Williams takes the ball, runs to the right, and then stands there for 5 seconds and then throws it away because Rashawn Gary got there, that's a pressure.
Yeah, I would imagine that the most pressured quarterback in NFL history has to be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
For that same reason, right?
Yeah. They're under pressure all the time. And is it his fault? Yeah. Because he's navigating the pocket, he's figuring it out. And it's agreed.
This whole pressures over sacks things, it kind of reminds me of that guy at the bar, that douchebag at the bar that brags about like all the girls he gets, and then you never see him going home with anybody. It's like, congrats, you talked to them at the bar, but you didn't get their number, you didn't go home for him. So, like, what is there to show for it? Nothing.
If Raj, if you're listening, Roger Goodell, if I am changing the way this is getting measured, pressures, hurries, whatever it is, there needs to be a specific time frame on it. Like if it's under 2 seconds or something like that. Like because there's no hurry, there's no pressure if it happens 6 seconds into the play. I don't care. Like I don't care if the quarterback's still holding the ball. That's not a pressure. That's not a hurry. They weren't hurried. They were there, and then they just had to get rid of it because the play was dead. It's like it's a coverage sack. Coverage sacks count as sacks. We need to change this a little bit. There needs to be a time frame. That, and we need to start talking about defensive linemen in terms of quarterback hit, like time to quarterback hit. That should be a stat.
Right.
Because that makes more sense to me.
For sure. Trevor, I think it was you that was in the weeds. I don't remember this, a couple of years ago. The guy, he was making the argument that pressures were more important than sacks.
Yep.
And not finishing the play is more important than finishing the play. I like to compare guys to NBA point guards, and that kind of feels like John Morant's career, right? You know, you make every single right move except you don't finish the play. Like that's what a pressure is.
But it's like saying Amari DiMercato had one of the most impressive touchdowns of the year. He dropped the ball before the end zone. Didn't count as a touchdown, but hey, why would we knock him for that? No reason, right? Did everything right, except for, finish the play.
And it's the only sport where we do that. They don't count almost assists in the NBA. It's either an assist or it's not.
No, it's so stupid. Like, what are we doing? It's dumb. Why we should start counting missed layups. Andy Herman again calls him Brian and says Tucker Kraft is a very important piece of this football team, and they want him around for a while. Says he'll talk with his people and have already been in contact with them. I assume talking about an extension. Yeah, duh. I suppose if you can sign him now off of an injured season, that would be good. The Packers are going to try to completely fuck him over, is what this says. Right. And will his representation accept it? Probably not. Why would they?
Yeah. This quote is a no shit quote to me, right? Like when Tucker Kraft is on the field, I guess maybe makes the case for Josh Jacobs. Tucker Kraft's the best offensive weapon on this team. Might be the best offensive player on this team.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But yeah, Packers are going to say, hey, you had this many injuries this year. You missed this many games. Last year, you were banged up as well. When you're on the field, you're great. But, we got to make a very incentive-heavy contract here. You're not a top-tier tight end because best ability is availability. Let's bring this down a little bit. If you keep getting touchdowns and stuff like that, you can earn this much more. If you get into the Pro Bowl, you get this much more. That's what they're going to try to get him to sign. Was this his third season in the NFL?
Yes. Yeah, it must be, right? If they're talking about extension.
I mean, Packers are talking about an extension for everybody at all times. But yeah, so next year's a contract year. They would love to get that done.
Yeah, especially as someone who does so much other damage after the catch. Like, yeah, you just fucked up your knee. Do it again,
I don't blame the Packers for doing it.
100%. Agreed.
Yeah, it's just that's how they do business. Okay. Andy Herman needs to get a new job. I hate this. Brian says he thought Matthew Golden did an excellent job. Says he was really excited for what he can do in year 2. This is a nothing quote.
Correct.
I don't know what to say. I have no idea because did he do an excellent job? No, but how much of it is he's not an excellent player. So did he do an excellent job for him? I guess he's not good. He's fine. He's a wide receiver 3
on a team of wide receiver 3s.
Yeah.
I like Matthew Golden. It's excitement. I agree with you that you draft a first round receiver and he's going to be held to some high expectations, right? Because Packers haven't drafted a first round receiver. That's what everyone's been asking for the last 15 years. You finally get it done. You're you're incredibly fast. You're this. You're that. You're this. You're just going to be on too high of expectations for him to reach. Hope he reaches it. But I mean, if Packer fans are talking about this guy like he's Randy Moss, if he's Julio Jones, if he's these first round receivers, probably, it's probably a little bit closer to the to the Jahan Dotson first round receivers of the world than it is to the Julio Jones first round receivers of the world.
Yeah, the issue is we've seen a lot of rookie receivers produce really quickly now, and he didn't do that. Again, I think he was overdrafted. I thought he disappeared a lot in college anyways. So I think he's just not he's not an alpha, he's not a wide receiver one. But then two, he just wasn't used very much. Like, he should have been used more for sure. So I'm also excited to see what he can do in year 2, much like Brian. Does that mean anything? No. I'm more excited for year 2 than instead of talking about what he just did, though. I'd rather talk about year 2 than I'd rather talk about the potential than the results, if that's what he's alluding to.
Yeah, I think I said this during the regular season, but I'd love to see him in special teams, right? As the return. I know that they were working him in training camp on it, but like you say, like he's great with the ball, and right. We saw it in Chicago. That touchdown he had was sick. Like it boggles my mind that he did not return this year. Like, if you're not, I get easing him into an offense, but like, let's get the ball in his hands and get him on the field returning.
We had Josh Jacobs returning, and then returning again in the playoffs after a fumble. So, yeah.
Yep. That must be Versace's fault, though.
Yep.
Oh, Herman called him Goot. Finishing games is something we have to concentrate on in 2026.
No shit.
Luke, do you know if they asked him about this?
They did. It was something along the lines of, finishing games or whatever, and yada yada. You guys didn't finish games well towards the end of the year. It's just bullshit like that. But the one thing that did come out of it is that I thought was kind of interesting was, I forget who, I think it was Bill Huber who asked it, does the youth on the team, is that any indication of why you guys can't finish games? You're young, you make mistakes, alluding to that. And Brian Gutekunst said absolutely not. So that was kind of interesting, because I feel like at every single thing you do in life, when you're young, you're gonna fuck up, and that's how we get better, right? You learn from fucking up and doing that. So to say that, yeah, we're young, we're gonna make mistakes, I don't feel like that's a crazy thing to say.
Not crazy at all, but I don't hate that Goot said that, but we need to have somebody in the room then ask, okay, what do you think it is?
Yeah.
Like, if that's not the issue, please tell us what you think the issue is. Think it's the coaching staff that we just extended? Do we think it's the quarterback who you put your entire stock into? Do we think it is one player on defense? Do we think the defense in general, the scheme did not work, and you get to bury the Miami Dolphins' new head coach? Like, give me something. Don't give me a non-answer. If there's a problem, let's address what the problem is.
Yeah, this quote, right? This quote is said by the other 31 GMs in this exact same thing verbatim.
Yeah, that's stupid. Herman now calls him Goody, and he says Josh Jacobs is a really important part of the football team. Based on the answer, I wouldn't expect Jacobs to go anywhere. Wouldn't have expected it anyway. Yeah.
Then why would you even include that? But this is the context around this, I think, was someone asked, Josh Jacobs is 28 years old. He's got a lot of tread on his tires. Is that anything to manage in the future? And I think this is part of the answer. Which I think is you should just run Josh Jacobs into the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not going to trade him, then run him into the ground. It is
right. Give him 350 carries.
Sure.
Or 350 touches, whatever.
Packers do need to address RB2 this offseason, and it should be an electric playmaker, someone who can run outside zone, someone who could catch the ball a little bit to complement Jacobs. We'll see if they can do that. But there's no even heat behind, or even a spark behind, moving Josh Jacobs.
Agreed.
There's nothing.
Did you guys see that? Not that this means anything. It's kind of funny to see, though. Emmanuel Wilson had the highest rushing total in a game this season for the Packers.
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I think it was that game against the Vikings when they shut out the Vikings.
It'll be interesting to see if any team gives him anything. I think it would be an incentive-based contract. I don't think they will, but
could use a veteran backup running back is Miami.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a few for sure. We'll see what happens. Where is I mean, Arizona could potentially use one. Nathaniel Hackett just went there. We'll see. Never know.
Yeah, Chargers.
Um.
But
Okay. Bob, I'm guessing Domofsky tweeted. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst speaking for the first time since the season ended on how he digested the playoff loss to the Bears. Not well. Good.
You lost the biggest game of the last 5 years.
Yeah, I hope it's actually driving him crazy. I
Yep.
hope he is having a bad time.
Yep.
It's on him. You know, if
That was
only we
quite-
had a quarterback who never lost to the Bears, you know?
Right. And I know it's, we've been in NFC championships and things like that. But that loss to that game against the Bears is quite literally, it might be the biggest game since the Super Bowl, since Packers won the Super Bowl. Because right, the last 30 years, Favre, Rodgers, and even the start of Love, it's been, we can worry about every other game except for the two against the Bears because we're going to beat the absolute shit out of them. Now it kind of looks like tides are turning a little bit, and you don't want Chicago momentum because that's all you're going to hear for the next 8 months. So that you got to stop them in the dicks, and they did that for what
2 quarters,
30 minutes of the game.
Yeah. Again, I'd follow it up with why don't you think we finished that game well? What could we have done differently? What do you think the issue was? And because it was every phase of the game.
Something tells me he would say, I think you should ask Matt that.
Yeah, let's get us all in a room. Let's have a little powwow and talk this out. Domofsky again, Gutekunst on free agency. I believe we have all the flexibility to do what we want to do, which is nothing because we have no money. Goes without saying that they'll have to make some veteran cuts and restructures before free agency. That last sentence is from Domofsky, not from Gut. We were in the negative. I think last time we talked about it. We have since cut Diggs, Trayvon Diggs. So we are positive. We still don't have that much money.
Like $3 million or something.
Right. We can restructure Love for sure and clear up a bunch of money. And there's a couple other people we could restructure and clear up a bunch of money. So, like, it wouldn't be surprising to see the Packers legitimately have 20-ish mil, 25 mil heading into free agency. But that's with several free agents that are leaving the team that we would need to sign back. That's with signing a rookie class. Obviously, those numbers continue to rise. Luckily, Packers don't have a first-round pick, I guess, so all the draft picks will be pretty cheap. But yeah, Packers don't have that much money to do much in free agency. And if history of the Green Bay Packers is any indication, everything what we want to do is nothing. So yes, we have the money to do nothing. That's fine. Great.
Yep.
Fantastic. Gutekunst on the Packers keeping Matt LaFleur, which was team president Ed Policy's call. He's an excellent football coach to get where we're going. He's the guy we need.
Okay. That's a true statement though, because where we're going is down, and he's the guy we need to take us there.
I know when you're in the room and you're asking questions, you don't want to hang on any one point and you don't want to badger a question to the ground. But like almost every one of these responses requires a follow-up. Like every single one. It's like, okay, what gave you the confidence? He's been here for what, 7 or 8 seasons?
They've been together 7 years, Gutekunst and LaFleur.
7 years, Gutekunst has been here 8. So, I mean, just do a simple line graph of where we're going because it's down and to the right. Like we started great and we keep getting worse and worse and worse. So to get where we're going, there isn't any optimism that we're building something. You know what I mean? If there was momentum, if there was heat, if there's anything where it's like, yes, the season didn't end well. Yes, we lost to the Bears. Yes, this and that happened. But we've seen what we feel like is enough optimism that, a couple free agent moves and we're going to go next year. I don't think anyone feels that way.
Now,
right?
now let me ask you something. Like legitimately, I guess this is more for Luke, but you're an NBA guy too. Like, if I was to pick the team to like truly contend first, the Bucks or the Packers, the Bucks might trade Giannis and get a rebuild, and they're going to go all in. The Packers, like you said, like they don't do anything; they just tread water. So, like to your point, where are we going? We're going nowhere. And if you can look at a team like the Bucks and say they have a brighter future than the Packers, like I don't think you can argue with that.
Well, regardless, if the Bucks trade Giannis, you get a lot back, and the closer you get to tanking, the closer you can do a big turnaround, right? Even if you have Giannis, you have one of the best players in the world. You have a superstar. I understand Michael Parsons is one of the best players in the league. I don't think he's a superstar. I don't think he is the leader you need. He's not someone you necessarily build around. He's the cherry on top that wins a lot of games, but he's not someone who's going to get you all the wins himself. You need it. You need one of those guys. Like, you need a quarterback who is. I mean, this is the issue. You need someone bigger than the organization.
That's always been my thing, right? And I think that has to be part of and it's right. It comes down to the quarterback. The quarterback's the highest paid guy. The quarterback's the guy who he gets all the fame, he gets all the notoriety. When we're getting quarterbacks, and I always bring it back to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is bigger than Cincinnati. You need the guy who's got it, right? Joe Montana had it. Tom Brady had it. Now, I don't necessarily know that Peyton Manning had it, but he had he's kind of a nerd that people could like and rally around, right? But like, you look at, I think Justin Herbert's got it. I think Drake, like, there's these guys where it's like, yeah, maybe they can throw a football, but are they the guys that can really, that it's fun to root for and people are going to get behind? I think just given the state of Green Bay's quarterback play throughout its entire 100 and something year history, it's default that, oh yeah, we can get Jordan Love. Packers always know what they're doing at quarterback, but if we're talking about it, Jordan Love does not have it.
Yeah, I disagree with a couple of the names you said, but regardless, it's like the issue the entire time for the past several decades. It's Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers. General managers hated that. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, Gutekunst, Thompson, even they hated that. Now it's the Green Bay Packers with Jordan Love, and they like that so much more. They want the whole carry the G thing. They want the Packers to be the start, the end, the middle. They don't want anybody bigger than the organization because they are the organization. And that's just not how you win. Again, the Bucks, Giannis by far is bigger than the organization.
For sure.
There's no doubt about that. LeBron, wherever he goes, I hate LeBron. LeBron's the biggest fucking show in town. It doesn't matter what team he's on. That's why people jump fandom to follow him. And Correct. It's Aaron Rodgers. People cheered. I cheered for the Jets. I cheered for the Steelers. I want him to do well. He's the superstar. You need something like that. You need someone who is like, at the end of the day, we got the guy who's going to go fucking murder this team. Fourth quarter, we got the ball, or even defensive guys.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, I want Ray Lewis on the field.
Yeah.
We're going to destroy him. We don't have that. You can't fundamental your way to a Super Bowl. You just can't do it.
Well,
That's not how it works.
If you look at the last few champions across all sports, they all have that guy. Baseball, Ohtani, and all those guys, they have it. NFL, I mean, Tom Brady will forever be bigger than New England. I mean, him and Bill Belichick there. I mean, it's every sport. It's not even just football. So what you need is clearly there. I can't think of, maybe like Luke said, Leicester City in the Premier League in 2016 was the last team really that didn't have that big superstar, but even they kind of did. So if you want to win, you need to have somebody bigger in the team. And like you said, they don't have that.
And by the way, the coach can be the superstar too.
For sure. Right.
Like Greg the Broncos, it's Sean Payton.
Right.
Greg Popovich too.
I would even say New England is Mike Vrabel.
100%. Yeah. Without a doubt. At the end of the day, we have an undying belief we're going to win because we got Vrabel leading the charge. Whatever the decision that needs to be made, the person he needs to fire up, I believe he can do it. Does Seattle have that? I don't know if Seattle has that. You know what I mean? But the Packers, that's why we don't have the player who's the superstar. Okay, so maybe we go get the coach. And we decided not to do that. We went with one of the most passive coaches again. If the Packers had the opportunity to go and get, and again, you can criticize if this is the correct person or not, but if we could fire GM head coach, go get Bill Belichick. If we could fire GM head coach, go get John Gruden. If we could do something like that, those are the type of people. And we just don't have any focal point, any leader, any superstar. And that's going to be needed before we can get over this hump. It just is.
I mean, Rex Ryan took fucking Mark Sanchez and the Jets to the AFC Championship game and a quarter away from the Super Bowl. Like,
2 in a
that's
row.
all you need to know, to your point.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh's done it. Like, yeah, all the time.
That's a really fun dynamic when the guy is the coach, right? I think that's
100%.
what makes college basketball so great is the superstars of
Yeah.
college basketball are the coaches. And I know that's like whatever, fuck, authority, whatever. Those scumbag coaches are so fun, but it is right. You get you lead from the top. It's the leadership mentality. It's hey, we're gonna go and fucking win. I don't care who I have on my team. I'm gonna pound these guys into the ground. It's fun. It's a very fun dynamic. Now, also it's very fun when your quarterback is the A-list celebrity. Go do it all too.
It doesn't matter who. You just need someone just say, "Hey, get the fuck behind me, follow and
Right.
lead us into battle."
Right.
There's no army who's like, you know what? We have 5 generals. In the same way as we have 5 wide receiver ones. It doesn't work. Like, give me one guy. Let's follow that guy into battle, and we don't have it. We don't. We can't. We also can't have our best player not be a leader. That also doesn't work. So,
right.
We'll see. Okay, Andy Herman says, or quotes Gutekunst, obviously, no decision on 3-4 or 4-3 for Gannon at this point in time. Will come more as Gannon evaluates the players on the team. Gannon traditionally, I mean, Packers need to be a 3-4 team, probably just given the makeup. I don't know. I don't know.
This brings into a question of something for me that I guess is not totally related to this, but I'm just kind of interested in your guys' opinion on this.
Mhm.
When it comes to like football, right? It feels like football is a lot of. It feels like right. There's as much coaching as there's as much talent, right? Coaches can bring talent so far. Talent can bring coaches so far. In football, like right, basketball, you can get away with talent over coaching. I think baseball, you can get away with coaching over talent. But for football, is there what do you guys think is the happy medium? Is it like you need 60% coaching, 40% talent, 90% talent, 10% coaching, or is it split right down the middle, 50-50?
I'm not even sure. When I say coaching, as long as it's like everyone bought into a specific, it's scheme, not necessarily coaching.
Like, yeah, sure, yeah.
Because if everyone buys in and is fully into a certain scheme, it works.
Right.
But especially for the Packers now, if we keep flipping back and forth between 3-4, 4-3, 3-4, 4-3 all the time, we got people who are tweeners. We got people who aren't perfect fits. We got people who are thinking. We can't have, especially on defense, no one can think.
Right.
We need people who know their role, do your role, see ball, get ball, go make a play. If you're back there thinking, you're screwed. So coaching or scheme just so much that everyone is fully bought in, up to speed, good to go, no thinking. We play at 110%. I think that's more important than talent because we've seen. I mean, shit. We saw the Titans beat a couple teams this year.
Yeah.
Because they were just flying around, didn't give a fuck. They won those games. The Cardinals game, a lot went their way, but like they were competitive all year long and they were not talented.
Right.
And,
we see that all the time.
And I mean, they were more talented, obviously, in this year's Titans team, but Vrabel took the Titans to a 1 seed and lost by a field goal because, well, a lot of reasons, but Tannehill didn't help a lot either. And that was the team, that Bengals team that went to the Super Bowl. So,
and that Titans team had the most players on IR that year. He was coaching scrubs.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Goody is very appreciative for the contract extension and the opportunity to continue to walk in these doors.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah, same, I guess. Gutekunst acknowledges they are probably losing Malik Willis to a team that will at least allow him to compete for a starting job. 100%. 100%. Yep. He's earned it. He's played really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Packers need a backup quarterback then.
Right. I've talked ad nauseum about this, but I don't want to lose Malik Willis, but I don't think that Malik Willis should. Right. It's because of the money, but Malik Willis should not be out of a starting job for the Green Bay Packers next year.
I agree. It would be great. Would you prefer, and we'll talk about this at a different time, I'm sure, in more detail. Would you prefer the Packers draft a backup, or would you prefer they bring in a veteran?
Veteran.
So when we're saying veteran, what does that mean?
Someone who has had starting experience.
Okay, because I like the idea of bringing in someone like a Philip Rivers or a Joe Flacco as a veteran. But I don't necessarily know that I like bringing someone in as like a Nathan Peterman. Obviously, it's whatever. Um,
You
yeah, I
want
don't think
a coach essentially.
correct. I think that's worked.
Yeah, I don't think it
Okay.
matters who the veteran is. I've seen my team draft fucking Sean Clifford, and I think anybody with a pulse could have told you he fucking sucks. So
Disagree. Hard disagree. He's great.
So there's Packers have like you lose Malik Willis. There's a guy out there who can be the get behind me, let's go into battle and play as a backup quarterback in
Colin
guard.
Kaepernick.
Oh, as you said, Gardner Minshew, kind of two different ends of the spectrum there, but
True. Very two different ends. If we want to rehab somebody else's career, why not bring in Trey Lance? Let him
uh,
do that too.
so I wrote up an article in the paper of like positions that the Packers need to look for in free agency, and I talked about Minshew and Trey Lance for backup quarterback.
Trey Lance can play special teams too, guaranteed. I've seen him do it.
How about we don't change
Okay.
quarterback? Not that Trey Lance needs to change position. What happened to changing quarterbacks to receivers? That was fun.
I mean, they're trying to do it with Perez or whatever his name is from Vanderbilt.
Who is it? Oh, Pavia. Who is my guy?
Pavia, sorry.
Malik Washington? No, Malik. He's in New England.
Oh,
Malik Cunningham.
Cunningham, yeah.
He kind of did it with him.
Strangely, it almost never works except for with New England players. Because like
And
Edelman did it, Jacoby Myers did it.
Yeah. Terrell Pryor had some
Didn't-
run too.
Didn't David Sills the fifth? Wasn't he a quarterback, or am I just remembering wrong from his time in West Virginia?
Well, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Like Logan Wilson too, or Logan Thomas.
Yeah.
Travis
Yeah.
Kelce.
Right.
Yeah. There's a couple, but not often. Gutekunst says he's already been in touch with Tucker. Okay, we've already done this. Kraft is rehabbing a torn ACL, entering contract year. Okay, doubled up there. Brian again says he wouldn't expect. This is so stupid. Says he wouldn't expect Zach Tom's injury to affect him going into the 2026 season. Great. What do we remember what the final injury was? He was hurt all year, but he tore. Was it an ACL?
No.
I don't think it was an ACL. I don't remember what it was though.
He tore something in his knee, right?
Yeah. You know what? It's kind of gone under the radar, and I get why people don't, dive into the organization. But Dr. McKenzie's gone this year. He retired.
Yeah.
That sucks. He's awesome.
Zach Tom has a partially torn patellar. So, kneecap. Tendon under his knee. So, at least it doesn't affect necessarily lateral quickness, but it could potentially affect power, which isn't the greatest thing. Probably not going to affect him, but Zach Tom's the guy. I keep saying he's too short. He's not long enough to play tackle. So as soon as his athleticism goes, he's fucked.
He'd be really
playing tackle. So I don't want leg injuries to this guy because he's going to be bad in a hurry.
He'd be a really good guard.
Yeah, he'd be an all-pro center as well. But oh well. Brian again says he couldn't speak more highly of what he thinks about Jordan. A lot of first names here. Says he still expects him to get better. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
This is, well, that's not true. I think he needs to get better. I don't necessarily think I expect him to.
Fine.
Is it?
Yeah.
But this again is a non-thing because it's just he can't criticize him because criticizing Jordan Love would be criticizing himself. So,
right.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, he's not wrong here.
He's not wrong, but couldn't speak more highly. I mean, why? Because he's not good enough to speak more highly. He wasn't great. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Gutekunst says Keyshawn Nixon had a very, very good year and doesn't think quarterback needs wholesale changes, but wants to improve depth at the position. This is mind blowing. I think.
Yep.
Why
would you even say that? There is nothing good that comes from lying so strong. Just give one of your non-answers, man. You're good at it.
I think he proved it. What Schneiderman left out was something about how he was high in pass breakups this year.
Yep.
Yeah,
But I
he's
think
targeted a lot.
that's what I was gonna like. That should have been the follow. Well, yeah. When you get targeted a lot, you're gonna break up passes.
Right.
I mean, that was the Aaron Rodgers special. And Tom Brady did it too. You see a rookie cornerback coming in, you fucking throw at him 20,000 times because you know they're the weak link. Congrats. Keyshawn Nixon has a lot of breakups because people know he sucks.
He's also coming off a game where he, fully moved aside to let a touchdown in. Like, fans were very much pissed at him. Spotlight on him. So, I
He
mean,
gave up
one,
a
it's insane to even say this, but two, just like PR thing. I don't know. Does he not know? Like, no one wants Keyshawn Nixon. I will say though, I think as a whole, Keyshawn Nixon played better than I thought he would.
I guess that's fair.
That's not to say I think he played well. I just think he played
Yeah.
much better. Is he a cornerback one? Technically, yes, because Packers just gave him what he wanted. He should move back to nickel.
Yeah, for sure.
He's
I
fine at
don't
nickel.
I don't know if you guys watched it last night, but Garrett Bowles scored a touchdown in the Pro Bowl.
Oh, really? Sick.
Yeah, I think Keyshawn Nixon was guarding him, to be honest.
Good. Forgot he was a Pro Bowler. Which, by the way, that made him a lot of money.
Yeah, big time.
It's like he bet on himself to make the Pro Bowl, and he somehow made a fucking Pro Bowl as a cornerback. I hate the Pro Bowl with a burning passion. It's so stupid. Okay, even more on cornerback. Gutekunst, known as Goody by Herman, says that Carrington stepped in and did a great job. Nixon did a really, really good job and was one of the leaders in.
There you go.
No, he wasn't. Says no wholesale changes, but did state they need more depth. He notably multiple times into a microphone said, "I don't know about the team. I'm looking out for me." Like multiple times. He's like, "Yeah, I'm doing this for the money. I'm looking out for me. I hated this organization until Aaron Rodgers was here, but now he's gone. He's done nothing correct."
Yeah.
Okay. How many times do you think Gutekunst has stepped foot in the locker room?
Twice, maybe.
I don't know. Not a lot.
No. Does he? I don't think he knows, man. I don't know. Brian again says he'd like competition everywhere. Great.
Yeah,
but again,
always.
applauds McManus making 32 kicks in a row before the Chicago game. Says he will have competition, but not due to how McManus played.
Is that right? The 32 kicks in a row? He brought it up a couple times.
I assume it includes extra points.
Yeah, I think so.
It's got to be right because that's a number, like, he knew what he was going to say, and he purposely went out and got that stat for sure.
Yeah. If it's wrong, that's alarming. But
Correct.
I assume it's correct. But yeah, I assume it includes extra points. But I'm not criticizing this. First off, you absolutely need to bring a competition in for a kicker, no matter who the kicker is every year. So that's not anything.
Well,
but yeah, McManus played pretty good. He was hurt, which I think affected him. He needs to be better. He needs to be a lot better. But as a whole, it just stings because he missed the kicks in the moments we needed the kicks.
Right.
And we need to have somebody in the building and on standby, on the practice squad, honestly, going into next year. Because if he misses a kick for like a game winner early next year, pull the plug.
Well, I think. And we asked way too much of him. In not only, in my opinion, in the Bears game, you got to be finishing more of those drives. But like, remember when we had the ball at the Eagles 40, and instead of having our franchise quarterback throw a fucking Hail Mary, we tried to have a 3-yarder in the cold from McManus. Like, at some point, you kind of got to look at some of those misses. And again, Chicago game wasn't great, but come on, guys. You got to stop asking them to make these kicks that are just ridiculous.
Well, to be fair, we had a kicker on roster who'd made one of those kicks, but he was on this roster at the exact same time as McManus, both active multiple times. That made a lot of sense too. But I just think the psychology, McManus has been so good for so long. I think he probably gets out of this rut. I think he's probably fine. But if he is still struggling to start the year next year, don't got time. You know what I mean? We don't need to play around with this. We'll keep you under roster. Go to the practice squad, do something, and we'll talk to you in a while. You know, we'll fake an injury. We'll do what we got to do. We'll talk to you in a couple months. Reading between the lines, Jordan Morgan. Oh my God, no! Jordan Morgan will start at left tackle next season. Gutekunst says it would be ideal to have Morgan focus only on left tackle. We'll probably still cross-train him though. Fuck yeah, dude. Gutekunst says Morgan did well enough to win the left tackle job last summer, but injuries factored in.
So the way I interpreted this when I was listening to it, and I think Scheidman's taking a little bit of reach here. That's not a horrible thing. Like could Jordan Morgan be starting at the left tackle next year, week 1? Probably, but I don't think Gutekunst said anything that Jordan Morgan is going to start at left tackle next year.
I think he has to. We can't sign Rasheed Walker back. We don't have the money.
100% agree with you that he probably has to. But for Schneidman to say that, yeah, Jordan Morgan's going to start at left tackle, I think that's bad reporting.
Schneidman likes to, especially lately, he's putting his pundit hat on a lot.
Correct.
He's not really a reporter. He's trying to be an analyst. So that's probably true. You're probably correct there. I love this quote. I mean, this is the Green Bay Packers. Like, he did well enough to win the left tackle job. He did not. It would be ideal to have him there. Disagree. It would be great. It would be great if he focused only on left tackle. I fully agree. Let's make a player focus on just one position. However, we do want to put him at multiple positions still. Okay. Do we think that might be the issue?
Well, Gutekunst's big thing, right, has always been versatility. You can play all 5 positions on the offensive line. And that way you can kind of cut down offensive line to, maybe keep 8 guys, keep 9 guys, and you can put, you can have Bo Melton. Not that Bo Melton's a bad player, but you can have a guy, tweeners other places. What's wrong with drafting 5 offensive linemen, having them play the 5 positions that they play, then getting another 5 offensive linemen, having them play those 5 positions you play, and having depth everywhere?
We've been doing this for how many years? We've been asking that question for how many years?
There's so many problems with this.
There's no rule that says you can't keep 10 offensive linemen.
The issues we do. they're just all 5 position players. We still keep all the players. It's just like, you know what? Our third center could play left tackle if we wanted to. We got him snaps there. Who gives a fuck? Why don't we just have another tackle? I love that he has to contradict himself in the quote immediately, which is so stupid. But yeah, why don't we have 5 starters? We'll have 2 backup tackles. They can both be swing tackles, and then have 2 backup interior guys. If we're going to cross train at any position, just cross train at center. That's it. Because it'd be great to have a guard who has experience snapping to Jordan Love. Jordan Love has experience taking snaps from that guy. That's all you need. You just need that, because guards can flip. It'll take a little bit, but they can flip. And then the biggest learning curve is just center. So that's the only thing you need to cross train. And we don't need the tackle to cross train at center. You don't need that unless you're planning on somebody else being Elton Jenkins. Honestly, like Zach Tom in 5 years, when he's not athletic enough to play tackle, then I guess he can play center, even though that's where he should be now. Okay, good. That's what we ended the press conference on, it looks like. Fantastic. So we ended with a bang. We went out with the best quote. All I know is Brian Gutekunst, we can just call him Brian.
Brian.
He's in his bag right now.
Yeah.
Good season for him. Maybe I might need to just listen to it. I need to listen to the Zach Tom or the Jordan Morgan quote at least. That is baffling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You listened to it? Did it come across like, what's this guy doing? Or was he just trying to get out of there, essentially?
Yeah, and I don't fault Brian Gutekunst for this. I don't fault any NFL person that has to do this. I think press conferences are one of the stupidest things that we do as a society. And to your point, and I think when we do a press conference, we lose the being able to have a conversation as a reporter and being able to talk, do those follow-up questions because everyone's writing their own different story. Everyone's trying to get questions in that you talk about Jordan Love, the next question is about Brandon McManus, the next question is about your contract, the next question is about Jordan Morgan. These press conferences don't really mean anything, I guess, in the long run. So I know that they hate doing, you're right, which I don't fault them for because I would hate doing it too. But
Mhm.
no, when I listen to it, it's like, yeah, everything he said is true. I guess that's not true, but everything he said is what Packers is every single press conference I've ever heard of this tenure between Gutekunst and LaFleur. It's they have answers. The reporters are going to give them the softball questions. They're going to answer with yeah, we can change that, or yeah, we'll have to look at that. We'll bring in some competition. Yeah, we like guys that can play multiple positions. Then you ask about the draft. Well, we have our process. We're confident in our process. It's just the same answer every time. And I get why fans are upset about it, right? They want to get something, but as an NFL guy, like I don't mind that's how he answers. It's just like let's not expect, everyone to think that, what we're saying is right when we're just saying the same thing over and over.
I mean, this feels like to me very similar to when you and I were watching and did streams for Hard Knocks Buffalo Bills when everyone's just very comfortable. It seems like everybody in the room, and I'm talking about reporters, I'm talking about Brian Gutekunst, everyone's very comfortable. Everyone's very kumbaya. There's no sense of urgency. There's no holding feet to the fire. There's no pressure for anything. Everyone knew not just what they were going to ask entering that room, but Domofsky knew what Steinman was going to ask. Steinman knew
Correct.
what, everyone was going to ask. No one was stepping on each other's toes. Everyone knew they were going to get the answers they needed to write their story. No follow-ups because it's like, oh, my turn to speak. Okay, now I'm going to ask
Correct.
my question. We just need pressure. We need to be like, okay, and I heard your bullshit. And why are you giving that answer? That's it. Just
Right.
have me stand in the room and just ask why after every question. Because that's all we need. We need just one why guy. Because nothing made sense in that press conference. Some answers were fine. Some answers I agreed with that a lot of Packers fans disagree with.
Yeah.
Like we talked about special team stuff. But like, I don't know. This seemed very useless, except for a couple spots like the Jordan Morgan, I think was notable. But Basaccia stuff's notable, even though it's what we figured. Yeah, I don't know. Other than that, like the Aaron Banks stuff's nothing. Keyshawn Nixon quote is notable.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. So I guess main takeaways, it sounds like Packers aren't going to be very active in free agency. We're going to try to get depth at corner. And we need to figure out what defensive scheme we're going to run.
Well, a lot of the question, a lot of the answers that he gave, I'm sure it sounds like it's something, and I hate to say this because I think people but it sounds like something of substance to people who probably aren't as in tune with football. But like, if you know about football, like, yeah, everything he says, like, yeah, whatever, who cares?
For the most part, yeah. Yeah. And it just stinks that the special team stuff was right away and it seems like nobody cares about anything else. Because
Right.
there's some things in there that we should really ask about and they're headline worthy, but we're just not going to do it. So bring on the Super Bowl, bring on free agency, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think Romeo Dobbs name was brought up once in that press conference.
Why would he? We're better without him. I've heard that from every Packer fan.
Yeah. Like, oh, go back and listen to it. There's an Anthony Belton segment.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Someone asked about him, and it was along the lines of, "Yeah, I thought he played all right," or it'll get you angry.
Good. Because he stinks. He's not good.
I did, and it wasn't in there either. But someone asked him about, because the NFL's doing like their international tour or whatever now. Someone asked him like what he thought about that. I did like how he answered that by saying, "When I first heard about it, I hated it," and I like that. And I forget what the rest was like. Oh, then I came around to blah blah blah. But I hate it for our team. And like, yeah, they ruined David Bakhtiari's career.
True. Yeah, that's true. By the way, that's how I assume every general manager feels.
For sure.
Like they should, at least, if they're really talking about how much they love the international games or they love the foreign audience and stuff. That's bullshit. There's no way. because it's just a nuisance for a team. It stinks.
I forgot
Okay.
that the Olympics are bringing flag football in.
Yeah, summer in
Yeah,
USA.
I have a take about flag football. Sure, it seems
That
like you.
Caleb Williams should play it.
Yeah, like the guys who resemble Caleb Williams and probably are within the same
Yeah,
demographic as Caleb Williams. That's what flag football is for.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
let's play tackle football in the Olympics. That was my other take.
At the very, very least, put rugby in the Olympics.
Right.
We'll send our guys to play rugby and
Yeah.
we'll win. That's fine. But like,
Right.
I don't know why there isn't stuff like that. It makes no sense.
Right.
Or let's play American Gladiators and we'll have our NFL guys win at that too.
You know what they should do that would be fun. You know what they should do in the Olympics is remember it was back in early 2000s and they brought it back for a little bit was the Pro Bowl games. Like a kicker hit a crossbar or whatever. That's what they should do.
Yes.
Like they should call it like football events or something.
100%. Let me drive the golf cart with the target on the back too. That would be
Right.
that'd be a dream. That'd be incredible. But yeah, we need that. We need the kicking competitions. We need a good obstacle course. Why don't we just have a simple obstacle course in the Olympics? Let's flip a
Right.
tire. Let's run through the ropes. Yeah, that's incredible. We need that. That's so easy. That's the easiest one we should absolutely do.
It's
Get
like
rid of one of the track events. Who gives a shit?
well, it's one of the funniest Jackass skits is when they do the blindfold obstacle course race. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. We can set up mouse traps too and do that.
Right.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will be back in 2 weeks to talk about probably free agency, would be my absolute guess. But unless something else crazy happens, anything else before we get out of here?
No. Shout out John Schneider and Elliot Wolf, both Green Bay guys, going for a Super Bowl.
Yes, two guys that I would like to have as my general manager.
Yeah, I believe they're both Green Bay Notre Dame grads. Fuck Notre Dame, but
that would make sense, I guess. Yeah, I didn't even.
Where all the rich white kids go hate them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah.
Schneider, I don't think we really had a shot at him.
No.
Wolf,
big time.
Sold grand.
Yeah.
That was bullshit. But yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks. I'm sure peppy, full of life, and happy about the Packers. So,
I guess before we get off here, Super Bowl in a couple days. I know we talked about it on the other show, but you guys, any predictions if we have some different audience here? I still think Seattle wins, but I think New England covers. So I guess probably like a 23-21 game, maybe.
Yeah, I think Seattle wins too. I think their defense is too good, and I think New England's offensive line is not very good. So that's my guess. I think the under probably hits. So yeah, probably something like 24-20.
Yeah.
Right around there. I think I want Seattle to win too. I can't figure out who I want to win. I like both teams.
I like both teams too. I think it'd be very funny if Minnesota gave up on Sam Darnold and he wins the Super Bowl. Not that Sam Darnold's the reason Seattle's going to win a Super Bowl, but it'd be very funny.
If Seattle loses, I really hope it's because of Sam Darnold.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. Well, also, what a wild career Sam Darnold's had.
Weird. A very weird career. I don't know what to take I don't know what to take away from it, though.
I think that Kyle Shanahan can develop a quarterback.
I don't give him credit for this. It was 1 year.
I guess.
Not even, really.
And it's probably do you think that was more of like Sam Darnold finally got to like some kind of stabilization in his career?
Yeah, I think also he got to watch football and be in an NFL room without having to be a starter.
Right.
Like I think anywhere that's useful. I think more than anything, I just think the Jets are a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the biggest takeaway. But I still don't think Sam Darnold's good.
No.
So like I don't know what to take away from it is. Like I don't know. If you're saying, hey, Zach, you get to pick Sam Darnold or Jordan Love at this contract, which one do you want? Like I don't know what I want because I don't like either. They're both
like
middle
same player.
road. Yeah, they're both middle of the road. They're going to lose you games actively, and then they're going to win you games actively. And most of the time, they're not going to play a big result.
I guess the difference in that, right, is that Seattle's got the better team around the quarterback.
Yep.
Sorry, Trevor, did you have a prediction?
Look, the Seahawks come in red hot. The Patriots come in not ice cold, right? But like definitely not red hot with who they've played. It's 2 weeks off. I have a weird confidence that I got the Patriots by double digits, honestly.
All right.
I've seen this movie before, so
we'll see. I do think not betting on the quarterbacks to win MVP is the move, though.
Agreed. I think you can do a bet on position groups. I saw that as a bet when I was looking through for articles. I think that'd be a fun bet.
I agree.
This could be.
I assume wide receiver would be the best option.
This could honestly be a defensive player MVP. Like I feel like this is a game where a defensive touchdown wins the game, and that guy's the MVP.
See, to me, it's Rashid Shaheed. Like,
or right, yeah. Even Marcus Jones.
100%. He is a stud. He is so good.
Real quick, who has the Canadian snowboarders for our fantasy?
Not me.
Okay, well, if it's Jake, one of their best snowboarders just got stretchered off in practices. So,
I mean, we see this every year out of Canada. I mean, they talk big. They're supposed to be good. They're just fucking losers up there.
Let me tell you,
they crack under pressure. They're pussies. They're dumb.
You know what that does?
What?
It opens up a spot for the French.
Just to rag on Canada a little bit more here.
Sure.
They're national sports hockey, and I'm not a hockey guy, but Canada just doesn't win Stanley Cups.
They also have 2 national sports, and if you have 2 national sports, you even have one.
Right.
You know, they got hockey, and then they have lacrosse, and you can't really play either. We're better at both.
Right. Damn right.
Whoops. They stink. Canada stinks. I'm sick of them. They're so bad at everything, and all of a sudden they keep popping up in our like professional we shouldn't have no Canadian basketball players or football players, in my opinion. I understand there's some really good basketball players. It just feels weird. It feels wrong. They have to claim a state.
Well, if we're gonna, I agree. If we're gonna talk about basketball, all I hear is, Canada's got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Jamal Murray. They were horrible in the Summer Olympics the last time. Not horrible, but not good.
It's because they crack under pressure. Like they get to the big game, they can't do it.
Right.
You know, we're battle tested here. We've been through world wars.
Yeah.
Canada's been watching from afar. You know, we know what to do. When time gets tough, we win. That's
Canada,
what we do.
Canada did not take down the biggest monarchy in the whole world with farmers like America did.
No, they sat and watched and traded beaver pelts.
Right.
Cool. And you know what we did? Ran them off the fucking earth.
Damn right.
We're like, you know what? We should do that too. And extinct them, pushed them north of the border. We're good to go. But yeah, another day, another time, little history lesson. We'll dive deep into that and go USA in the Olympics. See you next time.